Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to my new player's guide to Eureka. So in order to unlock Eureka, you must completed the main story of 4.0 of Stormblood. After that is done, you will come here to rhalgr's reach at X 9.8, Y 12.5. And you're going to talk to Galiena to do the quest, and we shall call it Eureka. Now just know that Eureka is going to be in 4 instances. So this is going to be spread around 4 different videos. So after you have talking to her, you're going to come to Kugane. Alright, so I'll see you guys in Kugane. Alright, so I'll talk to kokaze. We'll be skipping every cutscene so you guys can watch those on your own. And now, what we're going to do is come all the way here to Pier 1 to complete the quest. Alright, so now talk to Geralt. And complete. So now we have completed the quest to unlock Eureka Anemos. So Eureka Anemos is the first zone, Pagos is the second, Pyros is the third, and Hydados is the last. Alright. So before we go into Eureka, come over here to the Nostalgic Fellow. Depending on what role you are, fending, maiming, striking, scouting, aiming, you're going to need 2 cryptic seals. If you're a caster, you're going to need 3 of these cloths. Okay? This is going to give you elemental bonus and +3 haste to reduce your GCD. The reason why these are important because they'll give you an extra advantage, and the other ones will give you 131. The reason why this is higher because the head and body are replaced, which is basically what I'm wearing right now, as you can see. Next, make sure you grab Potions of Harmony off the market board because this is going to give you an extra 10% increase to your experience. Because inside Eureka, there's going to be a different leveling system called the Elemental system. Okay, so make sure you get those off the market board. So I'll see you guys in Eureka. And again, just talk to Rodney here to get into Anemos. Alright, so here we are in Anemos. So these potions here are the Potions of Harmony. So you want to make sure that they are high quality because they will last for 90 minutes. And it gives you a 10% boost. So the first thing you want to do is talk to Kryle. Now, you will be able to do the relic weapon over there with Geralt, but because the relic weapon is not equivalent or needed for this, you don't really have to do it. So just focus on Kryle. So after talking to her, you're going to have to talk to Geralt, because he's going to give you your first magicite. And this is how you're going to be taking advantage of the system in Eureka. So come to the magia board over here and I'll explain exactly what it does. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is slot it into a element. Doesn't really matter at first. And confirm. Now, each enemy will have a different element. By putting the magicite into this element, you're going to be attacking that enemy with a element that is weakest to it. So in this case, I have lightning. So when I attack water-based enemies, I will do extra damage. Now, this is going to be what you do to each one. You can put it in the same slot. And then when you get 2 more, which is going to be in a different method, you're going to put it in defense. This way, when you return it, you always will have an advantage physically and defensively against your opponent. So right now we're at 318 for fire, ice, wind, earth, and water, but 346 to lightning, plus 28%. Now if I take off the body piece, and look at it, look how much of a big difference to your stats. So that's why it's important to get that piece of gear to help you with Eureka. Huge advantage. Alright, so now we'll talk to Kryle again because she's going to have to reduce the barrier. So the first thing we do after that is we must kill enemies to get a protean crystal, which are used in the relic weapon. So we're going to the right here. So every enemy will have an element and a level. try not to kill anything or attack anything that's about 4 levels above your own. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time. Because at later levels, you will die and then you will lose experience. So you're going to keep doing this until eventually one drops. And there you go. Now, like in Final Fantasy XII, when you kill an enemy of the same type, you gain a chain bonus. Here, as long as you kill something within range of your level, you will get a chain +1 each time. What this ultimately does is increase the chances of getting a drop of protean crystals, or certain lockboxes at higher levels. Also, your experience will grow as well. So that's important to make sure that you chain as much as humanly possible, up to at least 30, and then the chain resets. Most of these mobs are sight-based, so try to walk behind them. Some of them will have sound-based, some will be caster-based, like sprites, and some of them will be true sight, which means you cannot get around them whatsoever, even if you're hidden with ninja. So talk to Kral again after you get your protean crystal. And now you can do your relic weapon with Geralt. So now basically it's just kill a bunch of enemies to level up. Now, make sure that you do your challenge log for Eureka. So you have defeat each element, well, there'll be 2 elements to each one, 30 times, then 60. No more than 2 elemental levels below your own. Now, down here you have Ashkin, or the Undead, at nighttime. I think it's around 6:30 to 6 a.m. So these must be equal to or higher than your own. Sprites, which only spawn during weather, in this case water and wind, must also be within your level or above. But make sure that you watch out, they are aggroed by magic. So after you get that, talk to the lockpick over here. When you do fates, aka notorious monsters, you will get lockboxes, which will give you a piece of loot from the loot table. The provisions over here will give you eureka potions, which is basically a regen for 40 seconds. This is for those of you who are not a healer and doing things alone. You also have stuff to get rid of status effects and repair your gear. So make sure you stock up on those. And if you want the relic quest, Geralt over there will take care of you. So this whole map here is basically the holding of Anemos. These crystals here, you can only attune to them during certain levels, but make sure you're tuned to the main aether right here. So the Skywatcher back there will also let you know when the weather will change. The weather changes the same way it does outside. So right now it's clear weather. So then it's going to be showers. So it's going to rain. So the water sprites will be out. So you do have access to a mount immediately after entering, before you had to do max rank before you guys actually get mounts. So be thankful for that. So basically just go ahead and continue killing enemies at level 1. Once you get high enough, which I would recommend level 10, then you can start doing notorious monsters or fates. So we got another protean crystal and level 2. Once you are about 2 levels above an enemy, they will never aggro you ever again. Remember that Ashkin or the Undead aggro by HP. Sometimes they do. So basically you're just going to keep killing everything like this until you level up. Work on your challenge log and make sure your potion of harmony is up as well. You have Echo, so you're going to be stronger than before. So that does help you out if you're alone. So again, a little bit of a boost there, thanks to the potion. And if you're going to be changing enemies and they have a different element, if you're on controller, hit square, and then do offense. And it automatically will switch your board automatically instead of having to do it manually. So notice how I'm not getting chain bonus for this. Alright, so you're going to have to go up to level 2 in order to continue to chain. So I believe it has to be at level or above in order to get more chain. So keep that in mind. Alright, so I'm going to do this until I am level 3, and then we'll do the first magicite quest. Alright, so we're now elemental level 3. So before we begin, I want to bring to your attention, when you are switching elements, you have 5 charges. Once you switch and you hear that click, the elemental change takes effect, and then you lose 1 charge. When the outer ring fills up again, it will give you your charge back. If you want to replenish it, talk to the magia board to get it back to 5. So when you're out in the open there, make sure that you have some charges to switch your elements when you're in dire needs. Otherwise, you're going to either return or use another aetherite around it to get back to base. So talking to Corral at level 3, she'll give you a vague idea of where to find the third magicite. Or the second in this case. So it's going to be in this observatory building right here. Now, along this path you're going to see around level 4 enemies. Most of them are going to be sight-based, but there's a marble that is sound-based. So try not to walk too close to them. Walking actually makes it easier to dodge them. But because they're going to be level 4, you should have no problem killing them. Right, so you want to get to this area here. Alright, so we made it through all the mobs. So like I said, in the observatory building, you'll find the confluence. So go ahead and grab it. And then use return to get back to base safely. So then we're going to pass this into Kryl, get our second magicite, and then we're going to get more into our offensive. Alright, so the next is going to be at level 5. So it comes in the magia board, and then stick it in the same slot. So now we have 385 to offense, and 328 to defense. Okay, so now we're going to continue killing things for our challenge log. Now it's nighttime, so I'm going to be taking advantage of the ashkin and also their element as well. But I recommend getting yourself at least to level 3 before you start killing ashkins, because around here at the base you're going to find some skeletons that are undead that you guys can kill. Okay, so I'll see you guys at level 5. Alright, so I just hit level 5. Now, little tip, if you're doing the undead at low level, right about here is going to be a bunch of skeletons. If you're a white mage, grab all of them, a size, and then start doing holy. Everybody will die in a couple of holies, and you'll just jack up your level really quickly. Great place to start getting your ashkin challenge log done. So talk to Kryl for the next magicite location. So this one's going to be a little bit more dangerous because you can be dealing with level 10 mobs, which is going to be the orchard, which is going to be right to the right of it. Alright, so if you're really good at sneaking around, you can get there at level 5, but I recommend trying to get at least to level 8. So if you do aggro somebody, you have a little bit of an advantage. So try to get at least to level 8 before attempting this. So I'll get to the location to show you guys exactly where to find it. Alright, so I managed to get to the location, which is going to be at X24.4, Y23.0. I was actually able to get around the enemies pretty easily. Now, their tether might be long, but their sight is pretty weak. So the confluence is going to be right here, so grab it. And if you have your return, you can do return, or you can just leave the instance and re-enter if you want to do it that way. But we're going to have to make our way all the way back to camp to pass it in to get our third magicite. Alright, so we made it back to camp. Talk to Kryl to get our next magicite. Just like before. put it into the same element. And the next quest is going to be at level 13. So now we are 427 in our offense and still 340 for our defense. That's with the caster armor as well. So now we're going to go back to the challenge log and we're going to get to at least level 10. The reason why I say level 10, because the fates, which is one up here, these down here are going to be around level 10 enemies, so it's probably best to match them as well to get some of the notorious monsters to spawn, which I'll cover in a little bit later in the video, because I have footage of getting all of the spawns in Anemos. Okay, so see you guys when I hit level 10. So I'm finally level 10, well level 11 because I overleveled, and we finally got our first notorious monster to spawn. The notorious monsters or fates will spawn once their required enemies are destroyed. In this case, to summon this guy you must kill the flowering sabotenders. This one was a little bit late because I was killing these things like a half hour ago, but this one finally spawned. So like around level 10-ish you should start doing notorious monsters. So just like any fate, you're going to sync to it. Now this is going to be based on how many people are in the instance when it spawns, so there's only 2 people. So the HP of the sucker might not be so high. So make sure that the element is in offense. And let's begin. So one attack is doing pretty good damage. So this thing will not take too long to kill. They do have mechanics, so make sure that you do them properly. For this one specifically, make sure you silence that attack, or otherwise you'll get a vuln up. And just like that, easy to kill. Now, that one did have a stack marker, but because there's only one person doing this, I guess it gets negated. So you get experience points, you get poetics, you get lock boxes, which comes with loot, and you also get Anemos crystals, which you need for the relic weapon, or if you're doing the armor for dye options as well. So yeah, these lock boxes will have either materia, stuff to sell, or straight up garbage. But there is a chance that you might get a red mage barding for your chocobo, or even the T-Rex mount. So try to get as many of these as possible. Alright, so your ideal is to get as many notorious monsters to spawn, because once your challenge log is over with, that's all that's left over. Okay? When you're entering an instance for the very first time, check the player log. If there's someone with the max timer, which is 180 minutes, and there's nobody else here, you most likely are in a fresh instance. If there's people like me who have been in here for a while, most of the time notorious monsters have been spawned already, and then they go off cooldown, which then you're going to have to wait a couple of hours for them to respawn. Usually they'll have a tracker that you guys can use that will let you guys know exactly when they're going to be back up. So try to kill as many monsters that you possibly can to trigger notorious monsters. I will put a list of everything that can spawn here towards the end of the video. So now I'm going to continue doing this until I am level 13, and we'll get the next magicite. Now throughout your journey in Eureka, you'll find these elementals. Make sure you find them and stand in their AoE when it goes off. Obviously if you already have it up, it will not refresh until it falls off. So this one will give you damage increase and also an HP over time. And this one will give you an increased experience boost. So if you find them, make sure you stand on them and try not to kill them because they do have HP. So I want to make sure that you guys know what the elementals do. If you see one, stand in it. Alright, so we're now level 13 thanks to a couple of notorious monsters and the challenge log. We can now get the next magicite. Alright, so we finally made it to the northern part next to the marge. Also grab the aetheryte over there, you should be high enough to grab it. So you can see the confluence is right next to the level 18 mobs. I'm level 14 right now, so I would probably recommend level 15. That's where you guys are about 3 levels above that, just in case you have to survive. So their tether, like I said, is pretty low, but there I got grabbed. So what I'm going to do, since I am a healer, sleep them. Alright? If you have the ability to do so, do it and run like crazy. Fortunately, you can't use return because of that. So, yeah, try to not get hit by anybody else. Remember, most of this stuff is by sight. And their tether is pretty low. So I managed to make it out and I'm detethered. Just like that. Obviously, if you're not a healer or you do not have sleep, because you're not black mage, just run like crazy and hope to God that you don't get killed. Okay? So we're going to head back to the camp and then we'll continue the quest. Alright, so we're back at camp and I want to make a point that my challenge log is almost done. I just have, I think, one more challenge to go through and I'm already rank 14 or elemental level 14. This was added on to a couple of notorious monsters as well. So by doing the challenge log, you can go from level 1 to around level 15. If you have the potion and the blessing from the elemental, you can make it even faster. But this is just in one day of doing Eureka. So now the next one is going to be at level 17. So again, come back to the magia board and slot it there. So the next one will be your 5th aetherite or magicite. And just hit confirm. Alright, so again, challenge log, try to spawn some notorious monsters, and then level up to level 17. And then you should be able to get the last aetherite, which is going to be over here. Again, try to be around level 15 to 16. This way you guys don't get killed by the mobs that are around here, and they can kill you. So be very, very careful. Alright, I am back, and now I boosted myself up to level 20 because in the last segment I was recording it kind of late. So I decided to get myself to level 19 before going to bed, and then this morning of this section I got myself to level 20. But I highly recommend getting your level 17 magicite first, because it'll make getting to the last 3 levels a little bit easier. So we must go to the Uncanny Valley in order to find the last magicite. Now this is going to be in the northeast part of the map, and this is what the whole map looks like in its entirety. To get the left section, just come down here and this whole thing will light up, since there is an achievement for getting the whole thing. So I believe it's going to be up in here somewhere. And if you're doing this at nighttime, there's going to be fossil dragons that will spawn, which is another notorious monster requirement. So be very, very careful when coming up this area, because they are going to be level 20 and above. So when I find the next magicite, we will continue. Alright, so I managed to find the 5th magicite, which is going to be right here. X32.8, Y18.3. Now the coffer guys there are going to be undead, so like I said, coming during the day is probably best. The magic fans, I believe they are proximity aggroed, so try not to be next to them. Otherwise, you should be pretty safe to find them here. Now that we got the 5th magicite, a cutscene will appear. And now you guys can return to get yourself your last magicite in your magia board. So use return if you have it available to get back to the camp easily, or just exit and re-enter. Remember, the undead only aggro you when your HP is low. So slot it in your offensive. And now we have 724, which is a 100% increase, and our defense is 471. That's with the body piece equipped. Without the body piece equipped, as you'll see here, it's 506 for offense and 253 on defense for the rest. So there's the big difference between the two. So after that, we'll talk to Kryle, because this is going to be the finale of the story of Anemos. Alright, so now we must go back, and you're going to come right about here. Alright, make sure you're attuned to the aetherite over here, the wind-torn cabin. I did it around level 15, I think. So you guys should be safe enough to come over here, because the enemies are not that powerful. So it's going to be around level 17 enemies right about here. So you should be safe. around level 18 to 19. So let's take the cabin aetheryte and let's head over there now. Alright, so we're at the Aethernet control. So go ahead and attune to it. And then we need an Anemos crystal, which is killing notorious monsters. So you need 99 Anemos crystals. Luckily for me, I have a crap ton in my inventory. So that's why you want to start doing those notorious monsters around level 10. Watch the cutscene if you like. Have a little echo flashback. Another cutscene. And we're done. Alright, so now you're going to head back to camp. Because my return is not on cooldown, I'm going to just exit and re-enter the instance. Now that we're back at base camp, talk to Kryl. Skip the cutscene. You have reached the conclusion of this chapter of Eureka Expedition. To continue, speak with Rodney at Pier 1 in Kugane to travel to the forbidden land of Eureka, Pagos. And that's it. So once you have unearthed the rest of the map, making of the most of the Anemos achievement should be unlocked. But that is going to conclude Anemos. Now we're going to get to the section where I show you guys how to spawn and where to spawn all of the notorious monsters in Anemos. I will also make sure to put all of the locations in the description down below for easy access. Going in order, for fate number 1 is going to be the sabotender. Obviously, you need to kill the flowering sabotenders in the same area in order to spawn this notorious monster. Fate number 2 is going to be Lord of Anemos. You must kill its smaller counterpart in the same area in order to spawn this notorious monster. He also has a minion that you can get from the lockboxes. Coming at number 3 is going to be Teles. You must kill the harpies in the same area in order to spawn it. When she does the suffering attack, make sure you're underneath her to avoid getting a vuln stack. Coming at fate number 4 is going to be the Emperor of Anemos. You must kill the flying darners in the same area in order to spawn it. Nothing really to talk about, just dodge the AoEs and you should be just fine. So coming at number 5 is Calisto the bear. Simply kill the bears in the same area in order to spawn it. He will spawn some spores, but because he dies so quickly, all you need to do is focus on the boss and go to the next notorious monster. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Chimeric Nightmare Numbers. Simply kill the mneumaflyers in the same area in order to spawn it. So basically you're going to ignore the void cracks that they use and just go straight for the boss. He'll die before the chimeras come out of the void. Coming at number 7 is going to be Jahannam. In order to summon this, you must kill the sprites during gale weather. Nothing much to talk about, just dodge the AoE and just kill him as normal. Coming at number 8 is going to be amemet. It's going to be a dinosaur. You must kill the abraxas around the same area. This one will do razor scales, just basically get out of it a quick AoE. And then he'll mark somebody with prey. Again, quick AoEs, just dodge as normal, and continue on to the next notorious monster. Coming in at number 9 is going to be caym. Just kill the Anemos Ziz around the same area next to the first aetheryte to the northwest. And be warned that they'll give you prey, which can one-shot you if you're not paying attention. So other than that, look away from double hex eyes and you should be just fine. Coming at number 10 is bombadeel. In order to spawn this, it must be nighttime, and the undead gubus in the same area will spawn it. Be aware that he will do a upheaval attack on you, and also an AoE called pandemic that will give you a disease if hit. Other than that, just kill him normal and move on to number 11. Coming at number 11 is serket. In order to summon him, just kill the core claws in the same area. The only thing you have to worry about is his cascading AoEs that you just saw, and of course his poison. Other than that, he's pretty easy to kill. Coming at number 12 is going to be Eureka. In order to summon her, you must kill the henbane enemies in the same area, and just watch out for the ads that will spawn because they will give you bad breath. Other than that, kill the boss as normal and dodge the AoEs. Coming at number 13 is the Pale Rider. Even though the enemy spawns at night, it can spawn during the daytime. So must kill the Duskfall enemies in the same area. The only thing you have to worry about is, of course, the ads, which you can skip. that basically just do AoEs, and then he also will do a charge attack, but that's something you can dodge pretty easily. Coming at number 14 is going to be Polyphemus. In order to spawn him, just kill the mana eyes in the same area. If you're familiar with Orm Vale, the second boss, it's basically the same mechanics. Get out of the middle for glower and get up to him with Eye of the Beholder. And of course, watch out for the enemies around it. Coming at number 15 is going to be Submerg. In order to summon him, just kill the flying zoos in the same area. He'll do a lullaby attack, which is a conal from the front, and also another attack which is going to be point blank, so try to get away from him. Other than that, kill him as normal. He will drop Strider Boots, which is going to increase your sprint in city states. Coming at number 16 is going to be Hazmat, or the King Hazmat. In order to summon him, kill the Analas that you see around in the same area. He will spawn ads, but you basically ignore them and just take Hazmat out. Nothing really to talk about. Coming at number 17 is Fafnir. So the fossil dragons will come out at night, which is going to be in the same area, the northeast. So the one thing you have to worry about is do not stand in front of him when he does the AoE, and do not stand behind them because he'll do an untelegraphed tail swipe. Other than that, he'll do Heaven's Fall, which is something that you see from the Some All dungeon. Otherwise, this is the last one that you most likely are going to be able to solo. Coming at number 18 is the Amarok, the Cerberus. You must kill the dark scales dragons that are around him in the same area. He does basically the same thing as the World of Darkness Cerberus. Make sure you silence the Infernal Trinity. He'll do Slabber. He'll also do Hound Out of Hell. Otherwise, do not attempt to do this solo or you most likely will get murdered. Coming at number 19, we're just going to call her Lamb. In order to spawn her, it must be nighttime. You must kill the specters in the same area. This one's pretty nasty. She'll do a tentacle right and then follow up with a left. She'll also do Ink Cloud, which is basically a raid wide, and also put down puddles that will basically cause doom if you step in them. Obviously, she's going to be using morbid left or right or front and back, forcing you to move on your own. So make sure that you are dodging the AoEs alongside the puddles. And try not to get hit by any of the monsters in the arena as well. Coming at number 20 is the Big Bad Pazuzu. Yes, that Pazuzu from The Exorcist. You must be around level 20, I believe, to get his drops, which is used for the relic weapon. He can be spawned by killing the Shadow Wraiths right outside of his arena in Gale weather. The Wraiths can be pre-prepped before the weather comes out, so make sure that he pops on time. So he'll do Plague and Cloud of Locusts. Plague mean gets in, Cloud mean gets out. He will summon ads a little bit later in the fight, but if you're doing it solo, hopefully they'll get skipped, or they'll be so weak that you can take him out pretty quickly. He'll also do Dread Wind, which is just AoE. You can heal through it. He also will put down these winds that will go into opposite directions. So other than that, you do not really need to kill Pazuzu for anything because his feathers can be gotten through the Bird Watcher in order to get your relic weapon, which I'll show you guys at the end. Now, in order to get rid of all those lockboxes that you acquired from doing all the notorious monsters, come to the Lockpick Expedition NPC here. Open your lockboxes. It has been streamlined to be a little bit quicker, so you'll get your grade 5 materia, eureka potions for free, demi materia for selling, these useless sparklers, these stupid prisms, and some gear from Anemos, which is basically glamour, and sometimes it's used in the fashion report. And there it is, the T-Rex horn. You cannot sell these, unfortunately, so they go for 1,000 gil at any vendor. And you also have those cherry confettis as well. There's some chaps, more materia. There is housing items as well, the Charlane kind. If you're lucky to get them, we have some music. There are minions as well, so there's the Charlane wardrobe. More glamour. Elegant pieces, which are platinum, which that's 10,000. Clear Diamond Materia 3, that's 5,000 gil. And there's the minion, the Prince of Anemos. There's another minion in here. I think there's a Fafnir one, and there's a Mithra one. The Final Fantasy 11 Mithras. And you also can get crack clusters as well. and that was great too. So yeah, this is where you undo your lock boxes, so I just wanted to go through those real quick. So I'll use the minion and my T-Rex. This one can be a pain to get, but the more you get, the better the chances of you finding them. This is a great way to get gil for free, which is going to be even better in Pagos and beyond, because you can get other fates called bunny fates, and they can give you 10, 25, or even 100,000 gil depending on RNG. So I just want to cover lock boxes real quick so you guys know what to do with them. Now, if you're doing things solo and Pazuzu is too hard to kill, come to the Expedition Birdwatcher in the camp, and then you'll be able to pass in protean crystals in Anemos for a Pazuzu feather. I think you need 3 or 5 for the relic finale. So if it's 5, it's going to take you 1500. If it's 3, it's just 900 of these crystals here. Also in Pagos and Pyros, you can do the same thing. Hydados, unfortunately, you're going to have to do the old-fashioned way. But if you can't do Pazuzu, or you want it easier, then you can do it here. So I just want to throw that out there. Now, if there's anything that I have forgotten, or you think that it's something important that I forgot, please add it in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the part 2, which is going to be Pagos. And some opinion is the worst of all 4 zones in Eureka. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel even further, consider becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter. The link for that would be in the description down below, as well as the link to my Discord channel. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon and YouTube members. So until next time, make sure to walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging ahead. Take care.